Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us and getting ready. Get your day started. I'm Tracey McCain.
I'm Caitlin Nuclo, and the gang's all here today as we start our 7 o'clock here on the wax. And we're talking about that first alert for tomorrow.
We are.
That rain moving in.
Yeah, it's looking, you've heard the term, the trend is our friend.
Yeah, okay.
That's what we're looking at if you don't want a ton of rain.
Okay.
We're still going to see some issues. It will impact your Saturday, any outdoor plans. But yeah, we're looking at some changeable weather on the way.
The trend is your friend.
The trend is our friend.
Like that.
Tracy is your friend.
Tracy is also my friend, but trend is pretty cool too.
It is.
Yeah. Check out this lookout in Hartford. Pretty cool shot here. You see, so we had plenty of fog out there this morning, and now we're starting to see some breaks in the action. We'll see certainly a mix of sun and clouds later on this morning and later on this afternoon. Can't rule out a sprinkle, maybe a shower, say mid-afternoon hours. Temperature 60, and it's a touch on the muggier side. Towards the shoreline, though, here's New London, 59, plenty of clouds. Still looking at those visibility issues towards the shoreline. Notice that's where we have the problems right now. Say a mile and a quarter at Tweed, down to a quarter mile in Chester, a mile at Bradley. So this will be fluctuating, but the fog will be evaporating over the next couple of hours. First Alert Live radar scans the state completely dry. There's a few showers just off towards the west of Connecticut, but temperatures, yeah, they're mild this morning, upper 50s and lower 60s. And with that humidity, yeah, it feels like a late spring morning. Wind speeds, they're out of the south and southwest today, 5 to 10 miles per hour. So very different from that easterly wind that we had yesterday, locked in the cooler and cloudier conditions. But locally, we're looking at, see a few showers, having trouble making it into Connecticut, but eventually they will. And coming up for the day tomorrow, we're tracking this area of low pressure. It will bring some issues to the state. We'll detail the latest timing. That's ahead in your First Alert forecast. Good morning, Kate.
All right. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, everyone. 7:02 here on your Friday. We're getting you started with a look at those roads. Majority of the state still dealing with a little bit of reduced visibility out there. You can see that along the shoreline, 95 north and southbound. This is right by Neck Road in Old Lyme. Traffic volume, though, nice and light. We've had some residual delays in the Madison area on 95 southbound because of an earlier crash. That's cleared. We're officially crash-free. We're not dealing with a ton of road work at this time. All of the overnight road work we saw wrapped up. We're going to wait for that daytime work to pick up within the next, I would say, hour and a half or so. Live look here in Plainville along Route 72, here in Middletown along Route 9. We had a little bit of sun peeking through there. It's not really shining that brightly right now, but you can see that fog still kind of sacking in Waterbury 84 east and westbound, and in Meriden there along 691 east and westbound. So again, some reduced visibility, some delays that are building, especially down through the shoreline at 95 southbound specifically, which is what we're taking a look at here. About an hour and a half ride towards the George Washington Bridge. Not doing too bad. Rest of the state is moving along. Let's quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers. 7:03 now, and it's a somber day in our state. It's been 1 year since the tragic death of State Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier, who was killed while making a traffic stop on 84 in Southington.
The driver that killed him was already a convicted criminal and admitted to taking several drugs earlier that day.
Alex Oyola Sanchez pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter and was sentenced to 18 years behind bars last month.
Your reporter, Roger Susanin, is at the State Police Memorial in Meriden ahead of a special ceremony honoring his service and sacrifice.
Well, this will always be an emotional day in our state as we continue to honor the life and legacy of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier. And one of the ways that that is happening is here at the Connecticut Police Memorial, where you can see just last week, in fact, Trooper Pelletier's name was etched into the granite here, where it will remain next to all of the other officers who made the ultimate sacrifice for our state. Trooper Pelletier's name was also recently added earlier this month, in fact, the National Law Enforcement Memorial in Washington, D.C. His family and friends were honored throughout the week in our nation's capital, and his wife Dominique actually led Connecticut's Police Unity Tour, where law enforcement officers from all over the state ride down to D.C. before the memorial in honor of every single officer who lost their life in the line of duty. Trooper Pelletier's loved ones want people to remember Aaron for the incredible way he lived his life, and not just the tragic way that he died. They tell us he was an exceptional husband and father to 2 young sons, as well as, of course, a top-notch police officer. We remember him today and every day. And here at the memorial, you can see it says, dedicated to those who have made the supreme sacrifice, something that Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier did exactly 1 year ago today. Reporting in Meriden on this emotional day, I'm your reporter, Roger Suzanne, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, Trooper First Class Pelletier's tragic in the line of duty death was a catalyst for change to state law. His family worked to change the law that did not give surviving family members their pension unless the employee was at least 55 years old at the time of their death. In January, lawmakers reworked that and approved a change making pensions available to surviving family members regardless of that employee's age.
A federal appeals court says President Trump's tariffs may continue. That reverses a lower court ruling Wednesday night that blocked them. The appeals court said the tariffs can stay in effect while the court determines whether the president had the power to order them in the first place. But the court also gave the parties a deadline of early next month to provide written arguments on whether the tariffs should be permanently blocked.
Well, take a look at all of this dope here on your screen. In Hartford, police say they took down a major drug operation. They raided homes on Amity and Florence Streets, seizing cocaine, fentanyl, and 15 pounds of marijuana. Detectives also seizing 9 guns. They're here on your screen, and they include automatic weapons. They arrested 38-year-old Kenny Laporte, who's now facing federal charges.
A man from Meriden has learned his fate after a brutal case of domestic violence. Esteban Ernez was sentenced to 12 years yesterday. Back in 2021, he chased a woman into a gas station on Broad Street, and police say he beat her with a baseball bat. She was seriously hurt but did survive. Police say they were in a relationship and she had a protective order against him.
Well, a violent week in Waterbury at Kennedy High School is now raising questions about student safety.
Yeah, Marcy Jones is your reporter outside of Kennedy High, where multiple students have now been arrested.
Good morning, Caitlin and Tracy. Well, that's the exact question that school administrators as well as law enforcement officers are trying to find the answer to. 16 students have been arrested so far this week. Thankfully, nobody was seriously hurt, but all of this is due to fighting. 5 students were arrested yesterday. This follows the arrest of 11 students on Wednesday, all for fighting. While police are still sorting out details, it appears there was a widespread disagreement between students that escalated into physical fighting. At this time, police have said no weapons were involved, and the principal says several students were suspended. Charges for those who have been arrested are currently pending, and at this time it's unclear if any significant changes will be made in the remaining weeks of the school year in this violent week. Your reporter is in Waterbury, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, let's get to a quick heads up in Middletown. The city is about to crack down on speeding starting July 1st. Drivers will be ticketed for traveling at least 10 miles per hour above the speed limit. Thanks to these speed cameras that are now being installed near Spencer and Mooney Elementary Schools. They're also going up along a busy commercial stretch of Washington Street. Drivers will receive a written warning for the first 30 days, and after that, the city says it will start collecting fines. One of 2 historic ferries that cross the Connecticut River is back up and running this morning. The Rocky Hill ferry that crosses the river to Glastonbury was closed for the last several weeks due to flooding. It's now back open, running 7 days a week until November 30th.
Right now, scientists in our state are warning about 2 new pest problems. The longhorn tick is the newest in Connecticut, and it's invading towns in New Haven and Fairfield counties, and it can spread Lyme disease. Local scientists also say we're seeing fast-growing numbers of the Asian tiger mosquito, and to help prevent them, you want to remove standing water around your home.
And as we get another check, excuse me, of your first alert forecast, we have plenty of fog out there this morning to greet you as you head off to work or school. Temperature, 58 degrees. Here's a look at Windsor Locks up at Bradley, where, yeah, there certainly is some visibility issues. Temperatures, they're nice and mild, upper 50s to lower 60s. You might just need a light jacket out there this morning. First alert futurecast, though. Let's see how things play out for the rest of the day today, because we'll eventually see some showers later on this afternoon. We're talking anytime after 2 p.m., 3, 4 o'clock, some of those showers across the state. But here's where the heavy rain begins to come in. It's after midnight tonight. 2, 3, 4 a.m. sticks with us even through the morning hours. So you're waking up early on your Saturday. You're dealing with some of that rain, moderate to heavy at times, but some of the newest data wants to bring a little break in the action. Here's towards the early afternoon hours, maybe a mix of some sun and clouds. But what we're going to notice throughout the rest of the evening hours is some more of those showers, maybe a rumble of thunder returning. This here's 8 p.m. on your Saturday. Clearing finally expected beyond that. And for Sunday, besides a few clouds in the morning, ends up being a pretty nice day. Here's a live look in New Haven, where it's 61 degrees. We'll detail a nice warm-up on the way. You're going to see it next week as we enter the first full week of June. That forecast coming up.